Hi ladies, this is Sue and Gigi. That's Sue that you're looking at. She's going to have a procedure done by Nancy Fox here at Chocolat Med Spa in our little town of Petaluma, and it is kind of unusual, and maybe a lot of you have not even heard of this sort of thing. And it's basically using Botox in the upper lip to try to help with those lines. In other words, those what they call smoker's lines or vertical lines above the lip. It kind of relaxes those muscles. So that's what we're going to be looking at today. And Nancy's going to get started in just a second.
Okay, so
We should pan over to our lovely Nancy.
hello.
This is Nancy Fox of Chocolat Med Spa.
Nice to meet you all. What we're going to do is inject very small amounts into the base of this muscle movement right at the vermillion border. The vermillion border is what surrounds the bulk of your lips, the vascular part differentiating it from the typical skin area. So when women purse, blow kisses, I call them kissing lines, not smoking lines, we end up with this muscle movement here. Repeated muscle movement, as you know, when you have a frown or crow's feet, will end up giving you lines. Sue does not have the resistant lines afterward, but when you're speaking, you don't want anybody to see the creases. So if you imagine 4 planes of your mouth, we put one small injection into each of the major lines all the way around. About 2 weeks later, you come back and we rotate around to the outer lines. So today we're going to start here on these big ones. It's a little bit sensitive because you have to go through the vermilion border, so we put a topical numbing on. It's on your lips for about 10 minutes. You'll still feel the poke of the needle, but it's a tiny amount. You just pinch the lip here like this. You go right into that area and inject a very small amount. There's one, and relax. And there's 2. She doesn't have small lines underneath. We're focusing more on the upper edges for these perfect lips, which by the way have had permanent micropigmentation or
Yep.
permanent makeup, tattooing, which I highly recommend
recommend.
every woman do. Get your lips done, get your brows done, add some lash enhancement and some eyeliner, and it'll be the best thing you've ever done for yourself.
Very convenient.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
All I'm doing here really is kind of massaging it in a tiny bit so it kind of filters into the surrounding area and manipulating some of the topical medication. We just rinse that off a little bit with some rubbing alcohol, and she's done.
Piece of cake.
We'll see her back in 2 weeks where we'll get the outer line. Now, sometimes because it's such a small amount, we do small increments of Botox so that we're slowly making the movement disappear and the muscle bulk atrophy. Like you quit going to the gym, the muscles get smaller. So the goal is to make this smooth out. It's not to make her lisp and have that funky feeling in your mouth. This area right here is where you phonate the F sound, the F sound. So if I put too much in there at first or go all the way around her mouth, it gives you the feeling that you're blowing raspberries when you're speaking. So little tiny bits until it's perfect. That's
Right.
the goal.
Thank you, Nancy.
You're very
Thanks.
welcome.